Hey everybody, I'm Kathy Hester coming at you from a treadmill. Since we've been trying all kinds of new things, I've not told anyone that I'm going live. So this may be a 5 second thing or 5 minute. Um, but I kind of set some things up to see if I could go live here and I'm testing it out. One of the things that we've been doing since we've been doing the McDougall program other than the exercising, this is actually like my food prop slash office room. There is some glassware on both sides of me. Can you see our silly things up there from the living room? I see some people are here, so please tell me hi because I'm trying something new and I'm here all by my lonesome. And I would love to know who you are and where you're coming from. And this is late Friday night for me. I never go on live this late. But we were in Mebane. Yay! I was hoping Apple would be here. I knew you would keep me company. So I'm just walking kind of slow on my treadmill, uh, seeing if I can get used to it. Let's see, here we go. Speeding up a little bit. If I'm getting too bouncy or if this is making you seasick and you would most likely not like to see this again, let me know. But we've been talking forever about doing some treadmill walks. And so, like, I have a stack of books. We have a desk on here, and I am 5'1.5" people. So I do not need all the treadmill. So I can have, a foot and a half of desk here, and I'm not going anywhere unless I go past 3 miles an hour, and then I will fly off the back. So, yay, Cheryl's here. Oh, that's awesome. I'm doing your chat Dr. Greger style. I guess so. I'm just so used to being in the kitchen. And if I keep doing them in here, I'm going to be cleaning up in here and rearranging anyhow. But I thought, why bother doing that until I know if you like that? Hey, Jane, no. And Cheryl's in the living room. Tony from Arizona. Oh, Apple, thank you. I got my hairs cut a little bit. It made me very happy because I was having to do some weird swoopy thing. It was making me feel a little uncomfortable. And Sandra is here. It's great to see you. I'm from Indonesia. Oh, you guys have some of the most beautiful sauces and plant-based foods and tempeh. Thank you from all of us, right? Um, and Allie from Arizona. Oh, she was watching one of my other videos. And Emily from New Jersey. Oh, thank you. I wasn't sure about the bouncy thing, but like I also have, this is just my laptop. Um, and I probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 12 books stacked up. So the laptop camera is kind of in the face vicinity, right? And Vicki, congratulations. I'm so glad you're in alive. Move this over here a little bit. So tell me what's been up with you guys. Do you have any questions for me? Oh, I think he's from St. Louis. I lived in St. Louis for 3 years. Here's a fun fact. I went to the St. Louis Conservatory, which doesn't exist anymore. It was in an old synagogue in St. Louis, kind of U City, which is University City. And it's right by the other giant university. Like this was a tiny little building that I went to grad school in. But I loved St. Louis. There was a really great natural food store. Now I'm going to forget all the little towns, but it was a little town and I worked there for a while. Actually, and I used to sell my bread in stores. And I also sold bath salts for a while. I've always had 70,000 jobs. So okay, here's some news. And you guys ask stuff or tell me things. I love to learn things too. I met with Kim Campbell. Do you guys know Kim Campbell? She is awesome. And I'm going to tell Cheryl to put in the link to her movie. She does Plant Pure Nation. And so, and Vicky says, I know what you're talking about, and I can't think of it right now. When they first got the frozen yogurt machine, I used to clean it. I can tell, and I made this soup one time at this, because I was helping out, trying to get into the cooking department. And I was left to my own devices one day and I made goddess soup. So it was kind of like cream of chicken, only soy milk and tempeh. It was one of my first all out creations that sold out and made zero profit because I did not understand that part of making things in the deli. So I got in trouble a little bit. So I met with Kim Campbell, and she's from Plant Nation. She's Dr. Campbell's, Dr. Colin T. Campbell's daughter-in-law. So she's married to Nelson Campbell. And they just did a movie, and they're actually moving. So I was like, you have to meet me for coffee. And so Cheryl and I went over, it's maybe like a half an hour away. And we met her and had a vegan crepe. And they had like greens. I think there was some beans in there. It was kind of spicy. It was very good. And we talked for 5 hours. 5 hours. It was lovely. We have not actually seen each other in person since the pandemic. So that was pretty cool. And she was telling me about the movie that we actually hadn't seen yet. And so we started watching it in the car on the way home because, okay, so we were already out near Greensboro and it's Halloween stuff and all the Home Goods, TJ Maxx. So we went to Greensboro and found a couple of goodies. And I also found these two beautiful sushi plates because tomorrow I'm doing a rice meal planning class in Kathy's Cooking Club for those of you that are a member. And I was like, that sounds good. And let me see what we got over here. Oh, Alyssa's here. Yay. Oh, Jano99 says, I'm moving my baby to the University of Michigan this weekend. Officially an empty nester. That's got to be hard, you know? And I don't know if somebody else who's here has gone through empty nest stuff. We have animals and not actual humans that are our babies, so they don't go to college. They might get shipped off to training camp for 10 days or 2 weeks, but that's it. But it's got to be both hard and exciting, I would think, to be an empty nester. One, that you get to have a little more freedom, but maybe you're going to worry a little bit more too. So big hugs to you, and it's going to turn out okay. I'm sure of it. And Apple says the Campbell family are like whole food plant-based royalty, and they are, but everybody that I meet is just so nice. Like Kim ran, they were and they're still plant pods. So if you live in my area, certainly all over the United States, I don't know about Canada, but if you look up plant pods, you should be able to find one or how to start one where you are. And Elizabeth does one for us in Chapel Hill now. But I met her, I forget, I think she had asked me to do a demo. And I came over and I thought I had never talked to her. We just hit it off. She's just such a nice person. Really chill. And the last time I saw her before the pandemic, me, her, and Jill Dalton had lunch at her house. And it was just lovely. But she's going to be moving like a half an hour from Asheville, North Carolina, which is my favorite place to visit. And they're going to be doing some plant-based immersions like the movie, which actually I tried to talk Cheryl into going to. So it was kind of to help you get off your diabetes medicine or things like that. I think it was diabetic specific. But she's like, I'm not going to be on camera. And she wasn't quite ready for it yet either. So there's that. Um, but she's also maybe going to do some cooking stuff. So we were talking about the possibility of me doing some kind of like a cooking retreat. So I'll keep you updated on that. They're not even moved there yet. So this would be probably next year is what I'm thinking. Um, but yeah, the more I talk to some different people, I've gotten to meet so many cool people like Chef AJ. Like I text with Chef AJ because she's lovely and she's an amazing person. And when I was trying to decide if I wanted to do the McDougall program or a different program, I asked her advice and she steered me in the right direction. So that was pretty cool too. So just remember, people are just people. Even if they're fancy, snazzy people, they're still just people. And if you treat them nice, chances are they're going to help you. And there's so many whole food, plant-based people out there just helping each other. Now, do you guys have any questions about anything? Like, I know nothing about empty nesting, so I feel not equipped to talk about that at all. Marilyn, did you do empty nesting? Because I would love for us to help Jay know 99. Not that she actually asked for it, but I'm a helper. You guys know that. And Kimberly says, so nice to hear you away from the kitchen. I don't know what to do. So it's very interesting. I don't have it. If I try to show and tell, I'll be like, whoa, and then I have to catch up, right? To pay some attention. Hi, Marilyn. And Marilyn's coming in for Louisiana. I'm doing a little late night treadmill. Thought I would chat, and I'm thinking of maybe doing a treadmill setup, maybe in Heartbeat. We could also do something here too, but I can't do both at this point. So if that's, and by treadmill, I mean I would be on the treadmill. You could be out in the world walking. I could, but I feel like that would even make you more dizzy than this might be making. I know it's bouncing some, so I'm sorry. Um, but there was one thing, and Cheryl and I are going to do, I think, possibly try to do one live a week, like the Q&A we did earlier this week, because that seemed to be pretty well received. And whenever I'm doing something like this, now's a great time to go, I really wish you'd make X, or I really wish you would talk about Z. Because I'm just taking a walk, and you're just hanging out talking to me. But so I was thinking we would do some Q&As and talk about that. I also wanted to talk about some other stuff. I see something juicy in the comments, so let's go there. I'm slightly ashamed to tell you what kind of treadmill I'm using because it's ridiculously expensive. And I bought it when I realized I had to get a liver biopsy. So I decided it's better to spend that money here than in the future on surgery. And it is a Peloton, and you do not need a Peloton one. We did kind of get into the whole ecosystem, so we pay a monthly fee for the Peloton, and I was thinking of showing everybody the equipment we're using and how we use it. But here's the thing. You can join and get the Peloton membership to see all the cool classes, and I like the encouragement. Like, they're like, yeah, do it, you did it. And then there's Sam Yo, who's just like super chill on the bike. And he did May the 4th, Star Wars one. And there's just so many to choose from. And I'm a person who needs to feel like I'm not exercising. So having some entertainment, but there's any kind of music you like, any kind of personality you like, from like, whoa, high energy, which is not the people that I usually like, to funny, snarky. There's holiday ones, and it's just kind of fun. So we got the bike, and I got it mostly for Cheryl and sort of for me. And then I love walking. And I like walking outside, but when it's really, really hot, I can't do it. And so that's why we decided to get a treadmill. And we were looking at some other things. Cheryl actually had a different treadmill that I didn't feel super safe on. And this one it's expensive, but it is built to last. And I like that I pay this one membership instead of we were paying a membership for the stuff we got on the treadmill and another one for the stuff we got on the bike. But it's like a $45 a month membership if you have Peloton equipment. I think it's like 20 something, might be 29 if you don't have Peloton equipment, and you can use your own like bike that you have, stationary bike, treadmill. There's weight stuff. There's other exercises, yoga, meditation. When I've been taking my blood pressure, because evidently I'm terrible at it. And if you got, I would love some taking your blood pressure tips because I've been taking it for over a month and sometimes I have to take it 4 times. I wait 5 minutes, feet are flat on the floor, listening to a beautiful Peloton happy meditation or spa music, and I just am not good at it. It's like, how am I not good at it? Out of 4 things, there'll be like this huge range, and I take them one after another. So that's my Peloton justification, and I'm sticking with it. Again, you can still use the programs and utilize the things that I like without ever paying a lot for that equipment. Vicki says, need help with ideas for a weekend trip for a family wedding. Got snacks covered, but what's easy to have in hand? Because I'm not sure of the food situation. I love that. Let's see. And hi, Vicki. Hi, other Vicki from Orange County, California, and Lisa from Edmonton. And you guys get to have feedback too if you want. And JNO99 actually has Peloton. Changed my name to Pineapple Sorbet because I'm addicted to the Creami. I like that. I think, what is mine? Mine is, I don't think I can see on the screen. I forget. It's like Kathy Hester without the last E, Cooks. So either that or Kathy. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I can put it back in the comments later if you guys want to follow me. All right, so snacks. You got snacks covered. How far away is the trip? And are you looking for ideas for food, Vicki, in the car there or once you get there? Because we've been kind of researching that. In a few months, we have like a 14-hour car trip. We may break it up. And one of the things that there's a couple things we've done. One is buying those like little food thermos containers. I think is it Hydro Peak? Hydro something. Cheryl, put that in the comments. I've been getting them at Home Goods, TJ Maxx pretty cheaply. So we got some smaller ones, some really big ones for our oatmeal because we are eating the oatmeal, people. But another thing I did, and I'll have to come back and put this in there too. There's like this thing, it's like a little warming oven, and you can put your food in there, and 40 minutes later it's warm. And I just ordered 2 of those because they had a sale, and then they had another 40% off. So we got 2. We got a big one and a small one. We did not get the kind that you plug into the car, but that you can plug into just a regular outlet. And we have an adapter in the car for me to work. So usually when we take trips, that's when you get emails. And I get some posts done and different things like Hydro Peak is the name of the ones that we've got. So I was thinking a couple of things. I was thinking the night before, I can make a big chili or stew. We can ladle it into those and keep it warm for the ride. Okay, and Vicky's saying, looking for ideas when I'm there. It's about 4 hours away. So 4 hours away isn't that bad. So here's what I would do. I would have a cooler and I would do what I've been prepping now. So what we've been making sure to do that's been helping us a lot is we have rice, we have a beans cooked, usually I have some baked potatoes, regular and sweet, and little potatoes and rice. Oh, the wedding is an odd food situation since she's having a charcuterie board. And Vicky, you're whole food plant-based, no oil, correct? Um, oh, I would love to get this up. So, in a class I did recently, I made sweet potato pastrami, and I've made corned beets before. So those would be things that you could actually put in. And I do have on YouTube a way to make an oil-free sliceable cheese with chickpeas. If you want to bring maybe a sealed container that you could grab one of the empty boards and put in front so you look like everybody else. If that's not a concern, I would probably one of my favorite things is just a potato and steamed vegetables or chili over potato. Like chili over potato, that doesn't feel like whole food plant based no oil, even though it is. Like to us, that's real treaty. Okay, and she says, yes, she is whole food plant based as best she can be. No judgments here. Please know that. Because if you were not no oil, I would say grab a vegan cheese. Making it isn't that hard, but it depends on how comfortable you are. JNO99 says, my trick when traveling is to take tons of treats in the car, black bean brownies, Chef AJ banana blueberry muffins, etc. And I do like that because there's going to be cake. So it would be nice even if you made some little mini muffins or something like that. One of the things that I made for me and Cheryl was some banana chocolate chip muffins. And I just put them in the freezer. So if we're like, oh my God, I really want something sweet, we have something we can have. And I think it's a little harder in general, not every situation, when you're out with people eating something you want to eat. And that's where the real question comes. If you look at it and you're like, I haven't had charcuterie probably, I guess, barely ever because I became vegetarian at 18. I had a pretty pristine. I only had the white trash meat. I didn't have the fancy meat. Like port wine cheese at the restaurant was super fancy to me. I do like what Apple's saying. I bring my own meal, baked potato, veggies, beans, and balsamic vinegar. And I think that's perfect because here's the other thing. You can eat that cold if you wanted to. Like this whole, I think it's like hot something. I'll see if I can find out what it is. Again, I'll put it in the comments. If I do too much licking right now, you'll like hear, and all my glasses will break, and that won't be exciting. Well, it'll be exciting for you. Won't be exciting for me or Cheryl. Um, but yeah, I would bring something. You could also, since it's summer, if it's soon, really easy would be to make like a chickpea pasta salad. So you could do whole wheat pasta. You could do actual chickpea or red lentil pasta. Cook it up. Add in some steamed vegetables. You could also go ahead and just put in some cucumbers, fresh tomatoes if you have a garden or farmer's market. Maybe some fresh chopped peppers. And then I've been making a vegan ranch, and Cheryl made it last. So basically, it's an unsweetened plain vegan yogurt. And then I do use soy milk. You could use a different milk if you're allergic to soy, but I add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, which thickens it like buttermilk. So it makes a faux buttermilk. And then I add, I think, garlic powder, onion powder, dill, salt or salt substitute to taste, black pepper. And we've been taking that when we've met a couple of friends out. We actually went to the Cheesecake Factory, of all places. We met some friends who are a little bit picky eaters, and we got the vegan cob. And we just slathered our dressing over it. Right now, we are limiting the amount of seeds, nuts, avocados we eat because we're trying to actively lose weight. But you could have asked for them not to be there. But I figured because we're going for 90% on being whole food, plant-based, no oil. We're not looking at perfection. So we let those things come in and be treaty for us. And I don't know, Vicki, does any of that sound remotely appealing? Because chances are, if everybody's having charcuterie boards and you show up with this amazing, and it could be a pasta salad, it could be a rice salad or a quinoa salad, if you are not doing pasta and stuff like that. Ah, and she says, these are great ideas. I've not traveled whole food plant-based. I'm trying to learn from you. And we're trying to figure it out. So I'm trying to think in my head, one of the things I feel really good that Cheryl and I have done together is we're talking about times that we're going to do something off plan and planning things before and after to get us back onto track. And we'll talk a little bit more about that too. And maybe I will tonight. We'll see. We'll see how long I go. Should have brought some water. I'm trying to think of some other things we thought about. So having this warming thing, I think if you're going to a wedding or going someplace you're going to sit down, it would be really nice to have something cold. You could also just have 2 prepared salads, chopped salads. Have everything, like you could even put them in jars for traveling, and maybe even just put on, depending on what may or may not be around there, you could have some tofu that maybe you air fry ahead of time or marinate ahead of time. And so what I'm seeing in my head is 2 big things with lids. See, I got to pay attention. Two big containers with lids that you have all your stuff in. And then what you can do there is bring your dressing, and I use an OXO dressing container. I'll try to put some of those links down here afterwards. If you see them, you could also grab some links. Oh, Cheryl's bringing me my water. Yay! Maybe she'll say hi. Let me see if I can. I'm going to slow down so I don't fall off. Ooh, so she can say hi. Come on. It's okay. Just put your head over here. She dropped something on her, so she doesn't want to show you. Yeah, you can hold. There you go. Just wave. She has poison ivy so bad. All over. It's behind my ears. See, that's where she dropped something. It's horrible. Yeah. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. We were eating in the car. So okay, come on. No, I want to keep working out. It's like, no, gotta press that thing, right? Yeah, there we go. It's coming. All right. I don't want to wipe out on my first treadmill chat. That's perfect. No, oh no. That's perfect. I'm the only person who's short. Oh, great. So Cheryl did link to the movie. You see it for free. And we got about halfway through on the way home because we were about an hour away. Okay, come on. I keep upping it, and I feel like it's going to all up at the same time. Let's see. And Apple says, Vicki, it's great you're thinking about this and making a plan. Exactly. That's all the difference. So it's one thing just being somewhere and like, whoops, didn't see that coming. And like today we actually went out with our oatmeal. We met Kim around 10, and we did end up, the vegan option looked pretty good. She had talked to them. It didn't seem like it was going to have very much oil, if any. We think it had some, but a tiny bit, and we split it instead. And in those Hydro Peak jars, our oatmeal was still hot, piping hot 10 hours later, so we actually are putting it in the fridge for tomorrow in a different container. It's never good to keep it in something like that. But thinking about things helps. Now, we also then went to Greensboro, where our other favorite place is, to have our, I don't want to say cheat meals because they're not, I feel like the two places we've been going is like 2 to 3% off plan. And not, like we went to Core Life. We had a bowl of rice and kale with vegetables over it and about a tablespoon of their sauce. And so with that, I feel okay. And I'm not telling you that you should make your plan my plan. But for me, we're gauging to 90 to 95%. We know if we don't eat perfectly, it could slow our weight loss a little bit. And we're okay with that. But we've talked about it and we think about that. And we'll see if we get there to talk a little more about that. 7-Piece Frog is here. Yay! I'm so glad that you were here live too from Missouri. There's somebody else. Oh, good. Apple put it up. And they've got a little one and a big one. What I like about it is it has a seal, so when you put it on and you shake it, you can do that. And it's traveled well with us. Oh, and Jano99, take Ziploc bags of oatmeal. Most gas stations will have bananas. You can make it in a coffee cup and use hot water. We got, I think it's a 70-ounce hot container for us to put hot water in, because I still have to do this and experiment, but I want to make some like mason jars of ramen and see if we can pour hot water in that. See if we can pour hot water in oatmeal. What I do to make my instant oatmeal is I take rolled oats and I pulse it in the food processor. That's the only difference between, oh, my lovely assistant here. Oh, you want to, okay, let's see. It's coordination with this. So these are the little, oh, that would be good. There you go. That's the Hydro Peak thing. And inside is stainless steel. And they've got this little handle. There's some out there, people, that are pink with ghosts that I have not found yet. And then we got a lovely Halloween.
Insulated.
It's a little insulated lunch bag with skulls on it. Okay, I'm sorry. I know it's early. I try to wait on my Halloween, but at the stores I go to, it's Halloween time. They won't have any of this stuff in October.
But between the bag and this, it kept it hot.
So we had
for 12 hours.
The containers in that insulated bag, and that's also added to how awesome it was. But going back to the oatmeal, the only difference in instant oatmeal and rolled oats, it cooks faster because it's been processed a little more like food process. Pulse. And I put, depending on if you're SOS free or not, you can put a little brown sugar in there. You can put a little date sugar in there. You can put some chopped up dates. What else? I did so many things in the oat book. Oh, thanks, Apple. I didn't even notice that, but yes, you did link right to my store. That was very sweet. So you guys, I do get affiliate commission when you buy through there, just so you know. But you can just delete my stuff off the end if you don't want to. And literally, I make so little money through Amazon that I don't think I even get to pay one bill with it anymore. I used to make a lot more. They keep cutting fees. Allie says, I like a bowl with jasmine rice, chickpeas or corn, and pico or salsa with a little balsamic or low sodium soy sauce. And she likes it warm or hot. And I think that is great. And you could also do leftovers and things like that. But like, so right now I have two baked potatoes. If we were going to travel in the morning, I would cut them up, toss them with some unsweetened plain yogurt, make a potato salad. And if you go to, I think it's on healthyslowcooking.com. There could also be one on plantbasedinstantpot.com. There's an Indian chickpea potato salad that I learned from my friend Kalpana. And it just has some nice spices, so it's delicious. And if you could always use a cashew cream or an oat cream or all different kinds of things or a vegan mayo, depending on your eating plan. But one thing I did, I don't remember if I told you guys this yet or not, like a week ago, I wanted a tomato sandwich and I didn't have any tofu mayo made and it was hot and I was lazy. So I took some plain unsweetened yogurt and I put some kala namak in it or black salt, Indian black salt, which has that sulfury egg taste. It was crazy. It tasted just like mayonnaise. If you don't use any kind of salt products, I don't know of anything else that can make that taste, but plain yogurt would work just fine. And where did I get those containers? We've been seeing them at TJ Maxx, Ross, and Home Goods. You can get them on Amazon and places like that too. I probably should start a board for whole food plant-based traveling for all of us to get some good ideas with. Oh, good. 7-piece frogs is I'm Halloween crafting already, so I'm doing good. I know some of you love your summer, and I promise you, I am not trying to take it from you, but I am also trying to survive it. So I get my little dopamine rush every time I go and find something really fun for us to have later on because Halloween just makes me feel like a little kid and happy and you get to play. There's lots of good permission for me. Ooh, this is good too. Do, do, Valium Court? I'm sorry if that's not right. I put frozen grapes and frozen blueberries in my oatmeal. And I do that at home. If I'm making oatmeal packets, I probably would pack it separately in the cooler. And Vicky says the hotel's having breakfast, so I think I'll have a choice. Yeah. Oh, frozen grapes are really delicious. And also, I've been finding some really good grapes at Costco. And usually I don't do this, but now have you noticed since cotton candy grapes that all the grapes like have candy names? And I know the history of cotton candy grapes, but none of the others. So I have gone in, snuck one, tasted it, and if I like it, then I buy them. And I buy that package, so don't worry. Um, so, so that's what we've been really enjoying grapes. I was really in kind of a citrus mode for the past 6 months, and we really like. Uh, See, this is why I'm not usually on late. The later it gets, the more I'm tired and forget things. What are the orange, Caracara oranges? The ones that are kind of red, pinkish red? They are so delightful. And what I do to make it seem like a super treat for us, because Cheryl can be kind of like, I cut the ends off, and then I cut them in slices, but I take out that middle white part too. So basically, I mom cut them and put them in a bowl, and then we snack on them. And with Cheryl has always been kind of a no fruit person, but she's really been turning around and loving grapes, loving those oranges. And the last few oranges we got were obviously old, and we've got to wait for season again. She does not like stone fruits like peaches, apricots. I love those. So I've been putting those in my oatmeal. Been kind of, and this is something you can mix up to put in a microwave or something too. But like we slow cook the oatmeal and we've been eating it every day for a month, even in the hot weather. is I just use a cup of steel cut oats and about 4.5 cups of water in the slow cooker, because the slow cooker I'm using is the 360 one, the stainless steel one. It runs a little hotter, so I add a little more. And if you slow cook your steel cut oats, they get really creamy. Some people would say mushy. I say creamy. Or you could use that same, I forget what the ratio is, but if you go to plantbasedinstantpot.com, I have a guide to cooking steel cut oatmeal. I cook it for 3 minutes, and it's chewy and toothsome. So actually, someone just emailed me yesterday, like, what do I do? How am I making it wrong? And I'm like, you're not making it wrong. You might be using the wrong appliance. And I would not use rolled oats in either of those, because that's when you know it's mushy. But you can put it in like ramekins and cook it in there. But from the feedback I've gotten, that is too much for most people. Oh, good. I see other fall and winter people. And I have not tried sumo citrus, I don't think. Tell me what you like about it and how it's different from regular oranges. Good knives. Hey, Kathy. It's awesome to see you. Oh, plum cots are awesome. So any stone fruit, dinosaur plums. Um, oh, I just love them all. I got some red apricots. Like, I felt like I was buying gold, but they were delicious. What right now? I think I just finished some fresh blueberries. We've got some black grapes. We have some little cuties, which I don't like as much because you can't really cut them up and just prepare them. You kind of have to peel them, which I know sounds like a serious first world problem. And speaking of that, I think I passed up. Oh, hey, Linda. It is awesome to see you here. I am also so surprised that there is a live stream. I was like, I'm going to take a late walk. Let's test it out and see if anybody wants to hang out. And I did. Let's see. It was Ima. And Ima was saying, I like dancing, exercise in the morning to wake up, and yoga in the evening to help me sleep. And what do I think of an okara tempeh wrapped in kombu to ferment to make fake fish? I think you are a genius. That's what I think. And when are you sending me this recipe to try? Um, that sounds awesome. I have not made okara tempeh yet, but I think I've heard of people doing it. And for those of you who may not know, okara is the pulp that's left over after you make soy milk. And that's what I've talked about making ricotta out of. And I've been making creamy pints with them. It really thickens up that ice cream really nice. And apple, when you're making your overnight oats, if you add okara and threw it in a creamy pint, I think that could be gold too. Okay, let me come back down. And Allie's saying, if you don't mind answering, what did you eat today on the McDougall diet? Well, today was more of the 10% of the 90. So I can tell you what I ate, and I can also tell you how it was not strictly McDougall. So we had a buckwheat vegan crepe. What, everything on it was probably McDougall. There was some cashew cheese, which is not, even though we're not doing the maximum weight loss, we are trying to avoid nuts, seeds, and avocado. Since we're doing it 90%, kind of fit in there. That wasn't overly cashewy either, so it didn't. The cheese was actually pretty nice. The vegan cheese they made. Um, I wish I could remember. I think it was corn. There was definitely a bunch of kale, some black beans. It was kind of salsa, tomatoes, and things like that in there. So what I would do to make that McDougall is make it at home. And that way I would know for a fact that Nothing got sauteed with oil. They told Kim nothing was in oil, but we weren't 100% of that. Then we ate at Core Life because we were still out all day long. And Core Life is a bowl place. And had we brought our own dressing or just asked for balsamic, that would have been 100% compliant. So I had mixed rice, and I forget, I think we have some black rice and brown rice and things like that. So I had half rice, half shredded kale. I had roasted sweet potatoes. I had carrots, beets, broccoli, cucumbers, shredded ginger, like they just grate fresh ginger over it. And I had a tablespoon of a non-compliant dressing. So that's how it's not 100%. So I just want to be real clear, so no one feels misled. How would I do that differently? I could have used balsamic that we did have in the car, but I felt we were allowing for this little bit when we go out to eat, which we're trying to only do once a week, which we've done twice a week this week. Today wasn't planned. Yesterday was planned. And probably Cheryl and I will come on and talk a little more about that, but I still may get into it a little more. So Allie, does that help? And do you have some more questions? And I don't mind answering. And Judy was saying, do you have to use steel cut oats in the slow cooker? I would, because it just turns into paste with rolled oats, because rolled oats are already cooked. You can also use oat groats. The difference between the oat groat and steel cut oats is steel cut oats are oat groats cut with a piece of steel 2 to 3 times. And JNo99 says, Nutmeg Notebook has a great YouTube episode about traveling. She shows how she packs her coolers and how she cooks in her hotel room with only an Instant Pot. And you certainly could bring an Instant Pot, one of these warmer things. And as we're kind of researching about what we're going to prep, and we'll probably do something about that too. Oh, Marilia, frozen cherries are delicious to snack on. And now it's fresh cherry season, so I have some of those. I just have to pit them and get some things done. Dinah says, what a great way to get a walk and talk. That's what I'm hoping. I figured to visit and see what happens. And Sumo is amazing. Seriously, the best orange ever. Okay, I got to try it then. We will probably at some time in the fall or winter go to visit Cheryl's parents. They live in Ocala, Florida. So we should be able to pick up some good citrus while we're there. And so Vicki said she's going to watch for them there where she is. Tanya says, wow, it's super late where I am and you're on a treadmill. It is 11 p.m. here. We've been going to bed since the McDougall program ended, like at 1 or 2 in the morning. And we didn't really come home until about, 9:30 tonight. It took a while to kind of get the lights set up so that I could do a test in here. But I figured late Friday night might be the perfect time to test because no one would be around. But all of you awesome people are here. Oh, the King's Child is here. The King's Child X. This great Kathy encouraged me to do more stepping before bed. Well, because we didn't, today got away from us. I don't feel bad about what we ate. Yesterday, and this is something we'll probably talk about next week with Cheryl, is we planned because there was a big vegan Indian buffet that's at one of our favorite Indian restaurants in Durham. We didn't even have to drive very far to get there. They're doing it every other Thursday. And so we talked to Stacy, our health, I always want to call her our health coach, but she is our, there's a word in this head somewhere. She is our support specialist, but basically she's our health coach. And I said, look, we're going to do this. We're doing 90%. And we talked about afterwards, which was supposed to be today, but today got away from us, that we're probably just going to do like potatoes and vegetables and a sauce, which is what I was hoping to do anyhow. Tomorrow, I'm making the rice meal plan class. So we're going to make a big pot of brown rice, and I'm going to make some sushi rice. And then we're going to make vegetable korma. We're going to make this ancho mushroom tofu thing that I've been making a lot. And if you don't eat tofu, you can make it without. I'm going to make some soy curl stew, which will be decided and made up tomorrow in class. And we'll do some sushi toppings, or you could do sushi balls. So from that, I'm going to do my work, and then I will have a lot of our stuff prepped. So we'll do that, and we'll also either do rice and vegetables, or we'll do potato and vegetables. Just usually with a Dr. McDougall starch solution, the ideal plate, 50% starch, 50% vegetables. If you're trying to lose weight and the needle isn't moving, you can go a little less than 50% starch and a little more veg, but you have to make sure you're not getting hungry. So that's kind of the name of the game in the starch solution is you eat a lot and you're full, but it's, low. It's all about calorie density. And that is too much for me to explain to you at 11 o'clock at night on a treadmill. But if you ask me a question, I'll do my best. Oh, and I love this. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Esselstyn for his kindness and advising me on a hard issue. I do not know him personally, but I've heard amazing things. Oh, Kathy, this is not a guilt zone. This is a guilt-free zone. You do what you can do. Who knows what time I'm assuming it's 11 o'clock everywhere. I'm on the East Coast. It's not. I don't live in the center of the universe, but I'm doing it a little bit out of guilt, maybe, because I'm feeling a little guilty about today, even though, like I've been telling you, it still works in our thing. I really was planning on being super pristine today, but it's okay. And one of the things I really want Cheryl and I to talk about, so I was talking to Cheryl asking, how much do you really want to expose yourself? Because I don't care. You don't have to, but I will. Is, when we're making these plans and, she was really worried yesterday eating at the Indian restaurant, and she's okay with me sharing this, is she said, I feel like I'm letting people down. And I'm like, we're living our plan. That doesn't let anybody down. And one of the things I'd love to share with you guys is Chef AJ gifted us her reboot right after. So we got to listen to like a 2.5 hour live with Dr. Lyle. And what I loved is he's like, there are 3 people in the world that will do an SOS diet perfectly, because he was talking to Chef AJ with a no sugar, salt, or oil. And he said, I'm in the room with one of them, Chef AJ. Dr. Goldhammer's the other one, and I don't know who the third is, but it's probably not you. And not to be discouraging, but to say, we're probably not going to do this thing perfectly. Whatever your diet is, whatever your goals are, and if you can really look at it that way and make these conscious choices to go, okay. And Stacy talked to us about that, our health specialist from McDougall. I'm going on a cruise. I know one night I'm going to have cake. So therefore, I'm not going to have dessert other nights. And it's her making those decisions for herself. It's not that she would say, okay, Kathy, you're going to a cruise, so which night are you having cake? Because you can't have two, right? It's about me deciding how okay am I with slowing down the needle. And with, I think, Dr. Lyle and Chef AJ, and Chef AJ and JP deal a lot with food addiction, and I know some of you do as well. And I'm really trying to plug in and see how I feel about these things as we're doing it. And Cheryl and I are really talking about it, and I'm talking about it honestly with you too. And it's about, okay, we ate at an Indian buffet. Did I wake up today and that's why I ate these things? No, it's because Kim was like, oh, I guess you guys aren't going to eat because you're on the strict plan. I'm like, no, we'll eat with you, right? And it was not her fault. And we didn't do bad. We were within our guidelines. Maybe we didn't plan it super far ahead, but we've been doing this 6 weeks. I think we're doing pretty good. I feel good about it. Some things will come up. Last night was a planned thing. And we knew our weight loss would probably be slow this weekend and we would kind of catch back up. And what I got out of yesterday, in addition to some delicious vegan food, is helping a restaurant support the community. Dilip, who does the vegan Thanksgiving here, who is one of the people who talked them into doing this every other Thursday, is also talking to them about having more whole food, plant-based, no oil choices. And the food really wasn't that oily. Did they use oil? Yes. Is that non-McDougal? Yes. Okay. So I want to be clear about all those details because I'm not trying to somehow wish away the non-compliance. It was a choice I made that 10% of my life can be that way. So maybe I can visit with friends. I saw people I hadn't seen since the pandemic. And it was just really a good experience for me. And we are talking about trying to decide maybe that's where we go out to eat instead of going out to eat anywhere else in these planned events coming up in the future. And we're going to see how we deal with it after that. So if you're beating yourself up for not being perfect, if it's about, I didn't walk today, tell you what, I've hardly walked this week. Faith didn't meet me for our walk because she was busy and then I was busy doing different things. And I was cooking a lot and working on some other stuff. And this is the first time I've gotten on I guess I was on the treadmill on Monday and then I got on the treadmill today. That's it. So don't let me make you feel guilty because you've probably done more than I have. Okay, let me shut up for a minute and look at some of the comments. You and Cheryl get around. Yes, we do. Sometimes we are visiting and sometimes we're not. And Seven Piece Frog says, I like you're doing this play, but also telling us that if you're not able to slip when you're not sure. Okay. But also telling us if you're not able to or slip, then it's okay, right? Dr. Lyle of all the things is like, there are just a few people that are that precise. And when we worked with Howard Jacobson in 2019 was when we had lost some weight before the pandemic. The first thing Howard Jacobson does, and while I think he's a great coach, is he's like, you're going to fail. We're going to make these plans, these contingency plans. Okay, you want to walk every day. What happens the day you don't want to walk? So there was, and I said, well, I don't like to walk when it rains. Not because I don't want to get wet. And this is true. Like, I love y'all. But if it's a beautiful, rainy, cozy day, or even a stormy day, I'm going to do everything I can to stay in my house where I'm cozy. That is my happy place. Next to Halloween, That gives me all the cozy goods. And he's like, well, what's going to happen if you don't walk that day? I'm like, well, then of course I will have messed it all up, because if I miss a day, then my goal's gone, down the tubes. And he's like, what you do is you go, it's a rainy day. I love rain. I'm going to sit here and read a book. And tomorrow I will go walking. And I think I was 56 then, or maybe 55. And I was like, this is a revelation, right? Not one thing or another thing. So, so there you go. Oh, this is, Vicky says, if I could stay awake after Kathy, that's hilarious. Um, Seriously, you guys don't have to stay up with me. I appreciate it. Penny said, I saw someone post the crock pot lunchbox. I had that for a while, and that's pretty good too. It's a small amount of food, so if you're doing kind of a whole food plant based volume eating plan, it might not be quite enough food. That's my only thing, but see what you're doing. Like, you might end up making it a little, I want to say heartier, but I don't know that I really mean that. What do I mean by that? But maybe make sure you have some beans and some grains in there, and not just something, like steamed veggies. Tanya, I was going to head to bed now, but I can't. You're so funny. Oh, and Apple used to have one in the crock pots. Yeah, and I had one when I worked in the office as well. Oh, and Allie said she was asking what I ate, and that was perfectly fine. She said, sorry, I forgot you saw friends today. A little grace when we eat out. What would you say black rice tastes like? Okay, black rice. There's this other place, Bibimbap, which is a Korean bowl place, and they have purple rice. And purple rice is delectable. It almost tastes like a combo of white and brown rice. And you didn't ask me that. Black rice in general, I find to be chewier. Black rice and red rice seem to be much chewier than brown rice to me. If I'm cooking black rice at home, and on plantbasedinstantpot.com, I have a black rice recipe. I use a little extra water because it's not a wild rice, but texture-wise, it's almost a little closer to that than a brown rice. But I just love to try all the rices, really. And Marilia says, we really like soy curls. I do too. They're great. My cooking class is in Kathy's Cooking Club, and I don't have any of the links to where you would go to do it. But if you go to my YouTube channel, if you go back a little bit, the last couple of videos I've done, I have a sale. So usually Kathy's Cooking Club is $50 a month, and you get 2 cooking classes that are 2 to 3 hours long. You can attend live or watch the replay. You get the recipes after the class, because like tomorrow, make it one live we're going to develop it together. And then you also have access to all the other cooking classes I've ever done over the years, which are, I don't know, 106. So, and it's a monthly recurring fee. It's on sale for $25 if you sign up through one of those links. So if you're interested, go. And there's another reminder coming out tomorrow. And if you've signed up for Kathy's Cooking Club and you didn't get any reminders, email me at kathyhester@gmail.com and Cheryl will help you. And Linda says, I love that you're showing us how to do a 90% compliance plan, because that's exactly how I'm doing it. And I like knowing I'm not alone. And I think the thing is it just also depends on you, your personality type. Like, I'm a chronic overachiever, right? I was a kid in class with my hand raised. I put an index in a report in junior high. And so if I say I'm going to do something 100%, it's not going to be good for me. However, if someone has a serious food addiction or a serious heart condition, and maybe you're following Dr. Esselstyn so you don't have surgery, you may not have the wiggle room. And only you know that. So that's why I want to tell you how I'm doing. If you want to see someone doing something 100% all the time, that's Chef AJ, hands down. Um, ooh, JNo99 says this Thursday marks 8 months McDougling for me. Congratulations! I haven't weighed myself in 2 months. Dr. McDougall would be proud. I was planning to weigh myself, but I'm anxious about it. I know I've lost, but if it's not as much as I think. Okay. Did you go to the McDougall alumni meeting on Thursday? Because you did. You heard Dr. McDougall go, stop taking your blood pressure. Because I was trying to ask a question because I'm horrible at it, evidently, and it makes me feel stupid because I have to take it so many times. What he heard was, I'm obsessing over my blood pressure. And I kind of don't care what it is. I just would really love to know. Just so I could write it down on my thing and tell Stacy next time. That's all I want. Um, but he is a big proponent. And don't weigh yourself every day. Like one of the things he said to me personally on Thursday, because I had the gall to ask, was don't take your blood pressure. Go enjoy your life. Have a good time. I think that we do need some touch points, and I think it's great that you've waited for 2 months. I know Cheryl, because she has that little thing where you test your blood sugar. She puts her phone to the little chip, and she was obsessing, and it was not helpful. But it doesn't sound like you're doing that at all, JNo99. But if you want, you can email me your weight, and I will tell no one ever. Just if that helps keep you a little more accountable, you're welcome to do it. I'm sure you're doing amazing from the answers you're giving. I think it's great. Oh, you're thinking it might put you in a bad space. And one of the things that Cheryl and I are doing, honestly, is I do it more maybe than Cheryl does. My personality is I need to know worst case scenario. That doesn't work for everyone. I'm going to take a drink of water. And what that means to me is, because I knew today, because I'm weighing myself every day right now, just as part of my routine. And I knew my weight was going to be up. I ate a lot of food, and I didn't go to the bathroom. And it was. So I had already had my mind, worst case scenario when I get on the scale is I will have gained some weight. Well, there was no surprise. And I have a plan for what comes after that. So that made everything okay for me. It would be like, I didn't eat breakfast, it's 3 o'clock, and now I'm hungry. I tried to take it and make it into these things that were not personal. I was not a bad person because the scale went up. I was not a bad person because I chose to do what I actually said I was going to do, which was 90%. And did I do it 90% perfectly? No. No, I didn't. And it's okay. And if I decide in a week 90 is too much, 90 is too much wiggle room, I'm going to do 95. That's okay. It doesn't make what came before bad or what comes in front of that necessarily perfectly good. And if by exposing myself like this, if I can do nothing but help you be okay with not always being perfect, not always being 100%, I would be thrilled. And that doesn't mean I want to throw you off of your plan. You can do Chef AJ's sofas. And if for some reason something happens and you eat something that's not on your plan once, let's say for breakfast, you ate at the hotel and then you found out there was sugar in the dried fruit you put in. That doesn't mean you stop right then and go, I'm not Sophus anymore, and I don't know what I'm going to do next. No, you go to lunch and you make sure it's Sophus, right? Or you make sure it's Dr. McDougall or Dr. Esselstyn or just whole food plant-based or whole food plant-based no oil, whatever your thing is. So I do understand though, and I have worried, and one of the reasons for me I've been weighing every day, which I'm not suggesting to anyone, is that I didn't weigh for years. And so it's a way for me to go, okay, this is what I did yesterday. Did it affect the scale or not? And there have been a couple of days, I think it was this week. Yeah, it was, because I was like, yeah, last week seemed a little plateauy. And then like for 3 days I lost a pound. I'm like, that seems not reasonable. And so I'm literally looking at it like it's a thing. It doesn't define me, whatever the number is on the scale. If you're feeling like it defines you, talk with your doctor, a friend, and see how you can work it out that it works for you. And I'm not planning on doing this forever. I'm doing it while I'm kind of adjusting all the levers so that it gives me more information. And one of the things that Stacy suggested, so I have a book with a calendar, and so I'm putting my weight, my blood pressure. I'm also putting if we go out to eat, or we eat something off plan, not to feel guilty about that. But then if I'm talking to her in a week and I'm like, yeah, my weight went up and then it went back down. She's going to go, well, what maybe caused it? And go, I ate at the Indian buffet, right? And she's going to go, of course that happened. And look how fast things leveled back out once you got back on plan. So this is how I'm feeling. And I'm going to get to more comments. Okay, and Kathy says, just knowing that you're making decisions and sometimes not what you thought you would, but still making decisions is what kind of keeps us going. Because here's the thing. If you don't decide, life will decide for you. And I spent a lot of my younger years letting life decide for me. And there's a power in even deciding to go to do something different. And it's nice to feel that way. Vicky says to Jay, no, 99, don't give up. You do you. I just got weighed at the doctor's office yesterday and I'm at this plateau and I'm just mad at myself. Don't be mad. A plateau is a plateau. If a plateau is just a point in your life, just like gaining weight or losing weight. It's this rest period, sometimes where your body's healing itself, getting ready to go to the next thing. Talk to your doctor if you feel like there's something else going on, of course, but don't get mad at yourself. Oh, thanks, Miss Crab. Love walking with you on the treadmill. Yay, you're walking with me. That's great. And yes, I agree with this 7-piece frog. So many times you hear people say they do everything perfect. And all that does, it's usually a delusion. Chef AJ always does everything. She's amazing, right? But most people don't. And I think most people on the internet and on social media, they're just like, I'm going to be this great example. I want to tell you what's really going on. And I think most people aren't doing things perfectly, and it's nice to see that. And my light just went off. And I think we'll just have different light. And Cheryl says it was important to go out and support the community, visit with other local vegans, talking about us going to the Indian restaurant. Oh, 7-piece frog says, I'm so glad you are all here. I'm a night owl, so this is perfect for me. And Marilyn loves black rice. It's so yummy. And Cheryl also says, we talk at length at what will keep this way of eating sustainable. We talk so much more and plan so much better. And I am really grateful that Cheryl has started doing this with me and is really like on board. And usually it's one of us or the other feels guilty about something, or one will be like, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, okay. But I feel like we're really pretty much doing this as a team. And that's super helpful because when we were trying to do things separately and not do it all together, it was much harder when someone else is like, this week, I'm just eating all the crap I can eat. And now we're being strategic about how we're eating. Ooh, are you mixing oats with crushed pineapple? I know I'm way behind. Allie said, I lost 30 pounds in the McDougall diet and gained 15 back going to Mexican restaurant with hubby. Getting back on track, you and Cheryl are inspiring. You are inspiring. Losing 30 pounds is a lot. And one thing Howard Jacobson used to always say is like, use the data. So every time I'm doing something now, I'm analyzing it. If I do this, does it make me wake up in the morning and only never want to eat McDougall again? And in fact, almost every time when we don't eat McDougall right now, we're like, I don't feel as good as I did when we ate potatoes yesterday. How can we do this differently? So we're not actually, and I'm trying to figure out where the things are that will lead us truly off track instead of just having a little bit of a different day. And I might try finding purple rice on Amazon. It's kind of expensive. I got mine at H Mart, the Asian market, but this bowl restaurant, that's why I love it. It's like at least 50% purple rice. And Kathy says, eat watermelon. I discovered it's a diuretic. Anytime I eat it, I pee forever and lose so much water weight. But, water weight, Dr. McDougall talked about a lot of things. Like, and I don't understand all of it because I'm a recipe developer and not a doctor. So I won't go into all the details, but sometimes when your body's healing itself or releasing things, it's water weight. Oh, a 7-piece frog says you're making me cry because I am all or nothing. And if I mess up, I feel like I failed. And you haven't. Our whole lives are just these magic experiments about what feels better and what doesn't. And then you have to add in this little addiction part because sometimes addiction feels pretty awesome to some people. And that's when you have to be a little more mindful. But in general, we all want to be perfect. We all think that we're bad when we make a mistake. And if you got a belly button, you got to make mistakes. And we're all behind you, J-No99. So just know that I think you're doing brilliant. You've been doing McDougall for 8 months. And it doesn't matter if your scale went down 10 pounds or 2 pounds or up 1 pound. You've still done an amazing thing and you're changing your lifestyle. And that's a forever thing. And that's brilliant. Penny says, looking for a tasty mayo recipe to use on a tomato sandwich. I have not made any of Mary McDougall's dressings, but what I have done, I don't know if you were here earlier, I took some, I don't know what your eating plan is. So if you eat salt, I use unsweetened plain non-dairy yogurt and a little bit of kala namak, and it tastes just like mayo. I also make one where, I'm trying to remember, I think I put silken tofu, some apple cider vinegar, lemon zest, lemon juice, a little kala namak if you use salt, some garlic powder, and a little bit sometimes of lactic acid, which is vegan, made from sugar beets. And if you email me that you want that recipe, it's not on the blog right now, I can email it to you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Oh, first, you know, That's awesome. I'm so glad that you guys are just the best. You know, I would not hang out, walk, and get all, look how pink I am, and my light went out. And I don't even care because I'm hanging out with you. And Cheryl says we love gathering our data. That's a little bit of an overstep for me. I don't always love gathering it. Sometimes like, mm-hmm, right? But I love how we can look ahead with our data. And Kathy says, I kind of like the idea of giving myself permission to eat and then noticing that I'm not really hungry anymore so I can stop. And I think that's super valid. And one of the things that Cheryl and I noticed while we were doing the starch solution, so we had a doctor that we loved for years. She changed the focus of her practice and the focus of her life and was no longer a fit for us. Um, and so we were doing some things like she wanted me to put coconut oil in my tea so that my blood sugar would have longer and longer intermittent fasting because the oil didn't matter. It was really not a match. Because though I haven't been a McDougler before now, I've definitely been a mostly whole food plant-based person, even if I did have some oil in the past. And she was more paleo, eat all the oil, no potatoes, no starches. Um, and I feel like we messed up our hunger cues a lot, like a lot. Because she was like, go as long as you can. So I would literally do intermittent fasting until I would feel a little dizzy or lightheaded, and then I would eat my first meal. So one of the things we noticed when we started doing the McDougall program, we felt guilty about eating oatmeal in the morning. It took us a little while because for years, and one of my last arguments with my doctor before I left, I'm like, okay, I know I've gained 30 pounds over the pandemic. I'm going to start walking again, doing my 3 miles a day, and I'm going to start eating oatmeal. And she's like, oatmeal? Oh, so not so much oatmeal, but what you put on it, like fruit. And I'm like, okay. Also, I was not supposed to walk 3 miles a day, but do Tabata 4 times a day in various times of the day, even though my body wasn't ready for that then. So she wasn't making this fit me. She was making me fit into her new plan. So I think a lot of us who have struggled with weight, oh, there goes my other light, but I think you guys can still see me okay. And I'm sorry, I'll try. You're seeing my my screen. Here we go. Nope. We'll just have to live like this right now. Um, I'll see if I can. I can't just lean down like this without feeling really weird. Um, so back to that. So I think some of us who have struggled with our weight or eating and who have maybe worked against your own hunger and hunger systems, and I would count myself in that most of my life. I think that we have to work to come into terms with it. And the whole thing about Dr. McDougall is that the first day of the program, he talks about how you're not special. You don't have a special stomach or special genetics. You're just not eating right. Eat right, and you're going to feel better. And that I believe most of what he says. Again, there's going to be some people who don't fit into that. But his main focus is not being hungry. Eat till you're full. Let's say I ate 2 bowls of oatmeal, and 30 minutes later I'm hungry. You know what he would say? Get something to eat. If you're hungry, you're not going to be able to keep eating this way. And what he said, and Stacy and Heather and everybody was pretty much like, as your body heals, you may need less food. We'll see what happens. Ooh, black rice with crushed pineapple, Marilyn. That sounds delicious. Oh, I have all the encouragement that you guys need because it makes me so happy to be there for you guys. And you guys are there for us. And that makes us ridiculously happy. And Cheryl says, or we get hungry really quick and have to eat a potato at 9 p.m. That has happened. So, like in the old days, 2 months ago, and even before, we tend to like to eat early. We joke that we're just like really young retirees, where that comes just like 4 o'clock dinner on vacation, we're there. And with us really paying more attention, like sometimes we do have to have potato. That's one of the reasons I cook up a bunch of sweet potatoes. Because let me tell you, that feels like a treat. I mash it up with some pumpkin pie spice, a little non-dairy milk, a little vanilla. Call me dessert. Cheryl likes hers heated up, and I just mix it up. It's just like sweet potato pudding. I like mine cold. Thank you very much. I've also made something like that in the Creami. Delicious. And Jano says Justina Froze, maybe, is trained by Dr. Lyle, and she has an ebook that I highly recommend. Yes, who was telling me about that the other day? It might have been Chef AJ. She's a binge eating expert, and she has a YouTube channel. Oh, she also talks a lot about the being perfect mindset. Excellent. And please realize if you have an eating disorder, you may have to seek out some special help to help you get your mind on track. And that's okay, right? We're all just working as hard as we can to be the best people we can be. And Linda LaRue says, I started doing the starch solution beginning on April 18th, so it's exactly 4 months. Congratulations. And I've lost 19 pounds. That's amazing. And that's what I expect to lose, 4 to 5 pounds a month. And I think it's amazing. Dr. Lamb was saying, and Stacy, to me at least, that you can expect some plateaus where it could be a little harder, and you just adjust your diet. You might look and go, I can't do that tablespoon of dressing from these bowl restaurants anymore because I've plateaued, and let's see what, because it's going to get pickier and pickier about what you can take out. And then once you've reached whatever your goal weight is, or if you have, I don't have a goal weight at this point. I'm just kind of, let's see what happens. So, am I a cat person? I like cats and dogs. We have a pit hound mix, and then we have an orange fluffy cat who has been with us a little over a year, who moved in with us. And Penny says, that sounds really great. I do mostly whole food, plant-based, no SOS, but I do light sodium. I will email you. Excellent. So if you can use, Kalanamak is a pink salt that's sometimes called black salt because it's black on the outside. So once it's ground, it's pink. It causes confusion. From my understanding, it per teaspoon, it has less sodium than table salt would, but you're going to have to look at those numbers and see if they fit for you. And Kathy said, where do you get it? You can get it on Amazon, and that is how it's spelled, or how I spell it. And you can also get it at your local Indian market, which I recommend because you're going to find some really beautiful rices there. And I'm finding in some of our Indian markets, they're getting more organic grains and flours. And you can just get fun stuff. So like I can get fresh curry leaves. You can get inexpensive cilantro, beautiful tiny round eggplants and things like that. And yes, Penny, you can get it on Amazon. Thanks, Bert. I appreciate that. And hey, Lydia. It's always good to see you. And Marilyn says pre-cooked potatoes and rice are extra good, especially for diabetics, and they both become resistant starch. So what Marilyn's talking about, and I've heard some other people talk about it, is when the potatoes cool and sit for a while, that can help. So Ooh, who's shifter? Did I see? I don't think I saw a shifter. Ooh, it's about time for me to go to bed. Look, I've done almost 3 miles, you guys, and I'm not going fast because I thought I couldn't do the lights and talk to you and do all the things. Um, so let's go back down here. And so we're getting near the very wee end of my life. Someone We managed to get away with only one thumbs down by someone who probably shouldn't have been here because it's just a chat among friends, right? Um, I'm not that entertaining, but I can answer some questions. um, if I could do really cool things on a treadmill, I would do it for you. So I'll speed up a little bit, get a drink of water. We'll knock out the rest of these 3 miles, hopefully before my computer runs out of battery. Oh, and that's a great question, Linda. Am I making McDougall compliant Ninja Creamies? Any of the recipes in the Ninja Creamy book can be made McDougall compliant. I have an oat cream recipe. In a lot of them, I do offer, and I talk in the beginning of that book, and you can even get it probably down below on YouTube. I've got the book on sale for $11.99, and it talks about how you can switch out the bases. So some people weren't keen on the oatmeal. I love it. So I put in that you could add a tablespoon or two of cashew butter or some cashews in there. So I would do it without that. There is only one recipe in the whole book as written that isn't whole food, plant-based, no oil. And so again, I'm assuming perhaps like the odd couple, not well, that you are not doing any nuts, seeds, or avocados, which is not cut out of the McDougall plant. So it would be compliant if it works with what you're trying to do. So, and the only one that isn't as written that has an option to make it, I used some vegan blue cheese in this fresh fig blue cheese creamy recipe that I'm crazy for, that none of my friends like. They say it tastes like salad ice cream. But I'm a big fresh fig person. And I know some vegans don't feel comfortable eating figs. And you could probably make it with something else if you want. Let's see. So yeah, I am making, especially like a can of pineapple, applesauce. I do applesauce, dates, and cinnamon. I just did a Ninja Creamy demo 2 nights ago for the CNS Kitchen for Dr. Campbell's group. What did I make? I made mango lassi. So I used unsweetened yogurt. I used frozen mango. What did I sweeten it with? I think I sweetened it with date syrup or maple syrup because it's not an SOS program. So, but you could also then you could use whole dates and blend it all together if you're more Chef AJ SOS style, right? But yeah, no, we ate Ninja Creamies all through the program, and in the 12 days, I lost 7.5 pounds. I think I had lost 10 pounds a few days ago. That could change a little. It'll go up and it'll come back down. But about 10 pounds, and I think Cheryl's lost 10 pounds now. And we eat our Ninja Creamies regularly. So it hasn't showed any stop doing that. Okay, let's come back. Have a good night, Marilyn. I will see you in class. It'll be yummy. You're doing a great job of celebrating 3.03 miles. Thank you very much. I'm outlasting your time. Slow down. Just wanted to make sure I hit 3 miles before we were all done. And when I'm all by myself with the treadmill, I go a little faster, but I kind of think this bouncing may be a little extra anyhow. Okay, Bab says, love the photo of you and Cheryl of the Halloween theme. Are you scared of the starch solution? And love your Halloween spirit. Thank you. I appreciate that. We realize there are a lot of pictures of her and a lot of pictures of me, but not a lot of pictures of us together. And we went to Disney in 2019 for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party with a friend who shows up from time to time. I don't think she's on tonight. Um, we cut her out, and I was like, I'm really sorry we cut you out of the photo. And once I realized that's the only good photo of us together, I was like, how am I going to really phrase this? Yes, we should do a treadmill meetup. And I think after this, go ahead and join the heartbeat group. And again, I don't have any information down below this video yet, unless you're watching the replay. But if you go to a prior video, if you join my heartbeat group, it's free. And not only is it free, you'll get a free $35 class. There's a link to go sign up for it for free. I'm too tired to cook class. And that's where I was thinking of doing maybe some treadmill meetups. But we'll see what we can do. You should get out your treadmill. Not tonight, maybe, but next time. Get it all set. And Kathy says, I love the oat date base vanilla. Add peanut butter powder. This is my husband and daughter's favorite creamy flavor. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for that sweet thought. And he lost 100 pounds eating McDougal, basically, which is congratulations. That's just amazing to hear. Ooh, can I come up with my favorite top 10 for my Creami ebook? I have yet to make one. Okay, let's try for 5 because it's almost midnight. I would say the oat vanilla is one of my favorites. The people who didn't like oats really didn't like it. What you should do is make it, taste the batter or the mix. And if you're like, then spin in maybe a tablespoon of cashew butter or something, or use cashew milk instead of oat milk next time. I made a chickpea chocolate one. I made that one yesterday. Cheryl really likes that one. The mango lassi is one of my favorites. There's a blackberry lemon one that's to die for. It's delicious. I also like, and I did a demo of this on Chef AJ's show, I think, fairly recently in the past few months. Pear sweetened fruit, because that works really good. So basically, you're not using any additional sweetener. You take a can of pears with juice and blend it and take half of that. Then you mash up whatever fresh fruit. Fresh is better, but you could also puree in some frozen fruit with that. I did strawberries with elderflower balsamic, just like a teaspoon, I think. What did I do last night? I did cherry mango with the pear, and I was going to put something in it. I don't know what I put in it. I can't remember. What else? Because I really like them all. I made this great watermelon ice cream. I made a salted watermelon ice cream. It doesn't have a lot of salt. You could totally leave it out if you don't eat salt. But there's a tradition in the southern United States that we eat a little salt on watermelon. And so growing up, my mom bought these teeny tiny little salt shakers. We all have our individual salt shaker, putting it on a watermelon. And that's really good too. Oh, and Cheryl says she's lost 13 pounds now. Thank you very much. Getting a little crush. Oh, Oh, and that's right too. The pear chocolate creamy recipe. So it's a chocolate sorbet that's pear sweetened. Now, Dr. McDougall doesn't love chocolate or cocoa. He also doesn't really much care for caffeine, certainly not coffee. So if you're on that part, you could use carob instead. And, oh, and you know what, Al? I do actually have the green salt. I haven't been using it a lot yet, but I do have it. So green salt's a plant-based substitute that convinces their taste buds. And so it is like a sea vegetable. So it just has salt from the sea on it. And it's not a pure salt taste, but it's not too bad. And now that it's midnight and I'm at 3.22 miles, which is my bare minimum that I was hoping to do, um, I will leave you, those of you who do not know, who are SOS free. I have a plain salt substitute that I always recommend. It's easy and cheap. A tablespoon of garlic powder, tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon ground celery seed mixed together. Put it in your little salt cellar and use it like salt. It's not going to make your food taste Mexican or Italian or Cajun. So you can use it in all the different recipes. I would not suggest using it on the watermelon sorbet, but it might turn out okay. I've had, in the past, in my vegetarian days, I had garlic ice cream that was pretty delicious. So you never know. So anyhow, I think I'm going to bid you adieu. Let me see if I can slow her all the way down because I'm seriously sleepy. Woo! Do you guys, when you get off the treadmill, like I feel like I'm, like when you've been swimming all day, like you're still moving on the inside? That's how I feel right now. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for letting me try something new and not being too picky about. I know the lights went out. Now you see my screen in my eyes. It's not like my fancy kitchen setup, but it was just a pleasure to hang out with you guys, talk to you a little bit. Cheryl and I will talk more about this, making plans and 90% and what it means to not be perfect. Because I can tell you, I'm a perfect example of not being perfect. And if I can gift you one thing, let me gift you that. It's okay. You're not the only not perfect person. And today, before you go to bed, I'd like you to just kind of go through your day and think of one thing you're really proud of yourself for doing. I'm kind of proud of myself, I think, today. Both, A, getting to hang out with Kim before she moved, because I can be like, eh. And I love Kim, and I wanted to see her, and we spent a long time just hanging out, and it was great. I'm also proud of myself for coming home and getting on the treadmill and trying something new and hanging out with you, not knowing if it was going to work or if anybody would hang out with me. So if you want, in the comments, you can tell me what you're proud of, right? And I saw in the back, in the very beginning, Apple was saying they got a group of people together. Let me see if I can find it. Yes. I gathered a few friends together for us to state out loud what we love about ourselves and witness each other. It was a love fest, and I wholeheartedly approve of that. If you guys want to do a little bit of that in the comments, tell people what you're proud of, that would be lovely. Because it's so easy to tell people what we're not happy with. And you know what? If you were just nice to a cashier, that counts. That mattered to that cashier. If you petted somebody's puppy, that was good for you and that puppy, right? It's okay. It's okay to have little things. Like some days are hard and some days you're just barely making it through. And you know what? If you drink enough water, that was an accomplishment. So be proud of yourself. I am proud of all of you for all the things that you do. And Cheryl says, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you all soon. And It was lovely spending Friday night with you guys. I will see some of you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The rest of you I will see real soon, though, okay? And if you have any questions, you can always email me at kathyhester@gmail.com. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. I get behind over the weekend, but if you don't hear from me, email me again, okay? Big hugs. Have an amazing weekend.